Hello, 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 my beloved souls. Blessed be, blessed day. I'm Autumn, the Enlightened Daughter. For those of you who don't know me, and for those of you who do, welcome back, my beloveds. So, we're in a new week. Not we're in a new week. We're about to head into a new month. Is what I was trying to say. We just had a really powerful full moon in the sign of Gemini, and there's just been some really big highlights recently. Okay, sorry. I felt like the camera was moving. I'm like, what is happening? Anyway, so I'm so sorry. For those of you here in the States, I hope you had a really happy Thanksgiving. I know that can bring a lot of heavy energy and a lot of triggers and things like that. So, if you've been struggling with that or just had a really hard time or were really feeling triggered, throughout this break or throughout this holiday season, because I know the holiday season brings a lot of joy to some people and a lot of sadness and frustration to others. So, before I even say anything else, just know that you're loved, know that you're protected. If you need someone to talk to, you guys know that I'm always here. My number's at the bottom. You can always shoot me a text, hit me on an email, comment below. Just be supported during this time. You know what I mean? Like, don't let people take you out of your character. Um, the things that are coming up that are kind of triggering you, like, take a minute to take a look at them and see why this pattern is coming up for you to be able to heal and transmute it, right? A lot of things are coming to our awareness. We're going to keep playing in these cycles until we kind of take a look at it, own it, and send it like love and gratitude and transmute it, right? Now, does that mean, oh, we're going to send love and gratitude to the people that, abused us, molested us, raped us, beat us? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that situation allowed you to grow in whatever manner it did, right? You're the person you are today, partially due to that situation, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying that, people get a pass. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying take a look at the situation, look at the human being that you are today, and know that you're a survivor. Know that you're a victor, right? Know that you've come out of it. And know that you can now take a look at that scenario from where you're at today, safely in your body, and view it and see it and no longer be affected by it, right? These people cannot hurt us unless we allow them to, right? People will only go as far as we let them. So, for many of you during this time, you know, we've had this energy all throughout the year of really standing in our power, really coming to center. Taking accountability for our lives, right? Setting clear boundaries. And for many of you, I know that that's kind of what you're going to be called to do during this time, right? Or if you have already been on this journey where you're setting boundaries, it's going to be like, okay, can I hold the line, right? Because it's all well and good to think that you're healed and, elevated and ascended until you go back to your old neighborhood, go back to the family that you grew up with, right? Go back into those scenarios to see, if the transformation has really changed, and it's very much this healing process, to me is very similar to those that have had addiction problems. I've had a lot of addicts in my family. I've seen, and friends, I've seen people come in and out of, rehabs and things like that. And, you go to this beautiful rehab center and you get your healing and your support and you have a schedule and things are okay. And then you get released and you have to go home. And now the same triggers are around you, the same temptations are near you, right? That kind of had you losing it before. And so the real test is, have I actually changed when I come back to that situation, right? And so that's what I want you just to look at during this holiday season. It's like, I've made these big changes. I've done this growth. I'm doing this ascending. I'm doing this healing, right? Now I'm being called to deal with some of the people that I've kind of distanced myself from, right? Or now I'm being pulled into these scenarios and situations where I may not necessarily want to be there because of these old wounds and triggers, right? How am I going to show up then, right? How am I going to show up in these scenarios, right? Because I can show up with the mentality of, It's always going to be the same. This person's going to say this thing to me, and it's going to make me mad, and I'm going to get triggered, and I'm going to want to leave, and da da da, and I'm going to pop off and be reactor, you know, be reactive and lose my power and all this stuff. Or I could take a look at the scenario and be like, wow, they're still asking me the same questions. They haven't grown at all. You know what I mean? Because people are gonna, people can be very comfortable with our failures. People can be very comfortable with our victimization stories, right? People are very comfortable with us being disempowered, right? And so when we establish boundaries and when we establish, um, when we draw the line, most of the time the people that have a problem with it were the people that were fucking really benefiting from us not having those boundaries, not setting those standards, right? Having very low tolerance, not loving ourselves, not having self-esteem, right? Not respecting ourselves. There's a lot of people that, you know, ran with that energy, right? And so it's up to us to stop, look, and listen and pay attention and be like, you know what? Those are not my people. You know what I mean? If somebody is not happy for you wanting to be more successful or healthy or stabilized in your foundation or in a supportive relationship or really living a fulfilled life or following your goals and dreams, then maybe those are not your people. And that hurts and it sucks. Especially when it comes from those that are, we think are supposed to love us the most, or first, our family, or the ones that we've adopted as family. So it's up to you to just own your life. It's up to you to have that self-awareness and to again to set really clear boundaries, and I know that's not always easy. It's very challenging, especially when it comes to those that raised us, right? Or that we've seen as like authorities in our life. A lot of times when you're judging and criticizing yourself, is it even your own voice that you're hearing? Or is it the voice of your parents or, the elders or your mentors or your teachers or even your spouse sometimes, right? Or your boss, right? Where people make these comments about us and then we take the comments and we make it a cloak and we wear it as if that's our truth, when in actuality, that's just their opinion. You know what I mean? So if you've been doing your growth, if you've been doing your healing, if you've been walking this path, if you've, been trying to be accountable for your own life and responsible for the decisions that you make, then don't allow others to pull you back to the place where you came from before, right? You have gone a long way. And these people either need to meet you where you're at, right? And like join the high vibe movement or leave you alone. And again, I know that's not easy. Holidays are super important to me. I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays. One, because I love to cook and I love to eat. I'm a big food person. With culinary school, I was in hospitality business for over 20 years, right? Like I'm a big, big food person. But I also just love, the focus on gratitude and being with like our loved ones and sharing those special experiences. And when I started on this path, um, most people did not support me. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking metaphysics, I'm talking spirituality, I'm mixing sex and spirit, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy, right? Like this crazy black girl from fucking Harlem who used to do porn. Who the fuck is she to talk to us about God? Or I've made a lot of mistakes, and people. Somebody always got something to say. Everybody gonna judge you, right? But at the end of the day, my calling was my calling, right? The guidance that I received from the Most High was the guidance that I received, and I don't give a fuck how anyone else feels about it because this is between me and the divine, and it got to a point, members of my family where people were really upset with me. And I was like, I got to the point where I was like, if it's between you and God, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like literally, fuck you twice. Kick rocks, not doing it. But I had to get to that point where drew the line and then I had to stand on it. You know what I mean? It's one thing to say something and to draw the line. It's another thing to actually follow through with it. So you're being called to follow through. You're being called to stand in your truth. You're being called to own it, right? And then see how good it feels. See how good it feels to say no and to mean it and to not back down from it, right? See how good it feels to stand in your yes, right? And to not falter because you're trying to make somebody else feel better or you're trying to accommodate somebody else or you're trying to please somebody else, right? See what it feels like to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there with the thought and fear of maybe this person isn't into me too, or maybe this person is going to walk away, or maybe it's not, reciprocal, right? We're all being called to kind of step forward and to really expand ourselves, right? And to open ourselves up for this beautiful divine love. And sometimes when we're opening up ourselves to love, we're realizing and seeing that those that said that they loved us did so from the energy of fear or distortion, or it was very transactional. Like, what can they get from you in order to give you love, right? And I know that's been a big theme that I've been seeing playing out recently. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with this Gemini full moon. Gemini traditionally in the tarot is the card of the lovers, right? And it's about choices and deep, intimate relationships, right? And that could be friends as well. But it's this energy of who's connected with the depths of you, right? Who is supporting you when you're allowing that truth of who you are to really be expressed, right, in a healthy manner. Who are your people, right? Where's your soul tribe? Where's your soul family? Who's loving you through your messes, right? Who's supporting your growth and your ascension, your elevation, your expansion? Who is supporting your goals and dreams right now, right? Who can you share this with, if anyone, And I know that not everybody has, a core group of people that they can really connect with or really pour out into, right? Especially for, my gentleman followers. Just saw 11:11 on the clock. But, especially for the men that I deal with, a lot. I was looking at the statistics recently, and it's like 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 adult males doesn't have a close friend, like a best friend, and that's disheartening, right? Like that you don't have somebody you can call and be like, yo, I just had the best day of my life, or this happened, or you know what I mean, bro? Like, yo, bro, this chick, this guy, this job, this whatever, right? Someone that you could just talk to, right? A lot of people are feeling isolated because people are working at home and they're not really getting out and they're not socializing anymore, right? Or people are financially constrained and so they're having to live with their parents and so they can't really live their life and express themselves in their full capacity because they're under the authority of their parent, right? So it's kind of like you're a 30-year-old living at home, trying to work, trying to save some money to do what's best for you, but you still feel like a fucking little kid because you're under your parents' rules and thumbs and in their household having to follow their rules, right? And so you have all these emotions and things going on in your life while you're still trying to be the best version of yourself, while you're trying to move forward, while you're trying to heal, while you're trying to extend, while you're trying to expand, right? And then imagine you're in that scenario where you're in your home, right? Financially, you can't necessarily move forward because the world is what it is right now, and economically, it's just a shit show for a lot of people, right? And then the people you live with are your triggers, right? They're the ones that are showing you the abandonment patterns or the transactional ways of, that love is handled sometimes, or um the abusive patterns or the narcissistic behavior or the toxicity, right? And then it's like I'm trying to heal in the midst of the wound, right? And that takes a lot. That takes a lot. There's a reason that people have coaches and therapists, right? It's like so we can help you get through because it's a lot. It's heavy. Majority of the work that I've done was by I'm not gonna by myself physically. I'll say that because I'm never by myself, right? I have the divine, I have my team of light, but however, the majority of the work that I did was not with other humans helping me, right? It was me having to pour into myself. It was me doing a lot of journaling, a lot of praying, a lot of meditations. Um, a lot, I asked my team of lighter questions, and obviously I do divination, so I'm looking at my cards, I'm looking at my runes, I'm looking at my crystals, I'm trying to, get answers and understand. I'm calling upon the Holy Spirit to give me clarity on some of the blocks and situations that I have going on in my life, right? To help myself to be the best version of myself so that I can continue to be out here and helping others, right? But I had to set some boundaries. I had to lose some people. I had to hurt. I had to cry. I had to be isolated. I had to lose everything to get it back. And I've lost everything on more than one occasion trying to walk this path and be obedient and not be scared at the same time, right? And really being guided to just trust my intuition, right? Really being guided to to trust in my higher self. And for many of us, we don't trust in our own voice, our own self, because when we're young and we're following that guidance, right? Our authoritative figures are telling us, no, you shouldn't feel that way. No, you shouldn't do it that way. No, that doesn't make sense. This is how it's always been done, right? And so having to combat that on top of being in this lovely world and being triggered and unhealed, like, so it's like, well, do I trust myself? Because I was told that I was wrong, but it's like, well, were you wrong? Not necessarily, but maybe it just wasn't in alignment with the people that were um in charge of you, right? And we have to understand that and understand that, like, our parents and our mentors and our teachers and coaches and everybody are human beings too, right? And a lot of times they will give you their guidance. Oh, sorry, will give you their guidance from their perspectives, right? And if they haven't been doing their own inner work, right, and their perspective is still really fear based, then the advice that you're getting, right, the guidance and the clarity that you need is going to come from a fear based perspective, right? And so when you start to become aware of that and then you start shifting away from that guidance, from those ideals, from, those viewpoints, then you're going to get a lot of backlash, right? And it's just like because it's like I'm not trying to seem ungrateful for your advice, but I don't want your advice because you're not necessarily on my path. You don't have my faith. You don't have my belief. You don't believe that there's something bigger for you. You don't believe in the energy of abundance. You don't believe that God is for you, right? You think that the world is against you, and you're scared of everything, and you think that there's only one way to do things, and that's not me, and I can't be that, so we're not on the same page, right? And so you get backlash from the people because that used to be your people, right? And now you're kind of growing out of that circle. And it can feel really isolating, right? It can feel really isolating. So, as you're being guided to kind of like open your heart, right? As you're being guided to take accountability for your life, understand and know this. One, you're never alone, right? You always have yourself first and foremost, right? You have the divine, you have your team of light, right? The angels, archangels, ascended masters, ancestors, blah, 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 Holy Spirit, all the things, right? And know that if you have to sacrifice your health, your peace of mind, even your wealth in order to make somebody else happy, but make yourself unhappy in the same sense because your misery brings them joy, then those are not your people, right? And I'm not talking about wealth like, oh, I need to go broke to make everybody happy. I'm talking like if you're in a position of wealth, right, you have the ability to not only be of service to the planet, but to also help other people create wealth and stability in their life, right? That's a dope ass thing to do. But if you're dealing with people that are guiding you to hoard, be selfish, be greedy, and to do underhanded, undermining things, then those are not your people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying when it comes to that type of sacrifice, right? It's the same with your health, right? If you're out here trying to eat better and you're exercising and you're trying to get more rest and you're prioritizing self-care and people have a problem with that, those are not your people. Okay. And I know that it sucks, especially when it's family. I know that it sucks, especially when it's somebody that you grew up with, right? I know that it sucks, but oh well. You know what I mean? It's like my girlfriend and I, we're active. She's way more active than I am. I like to walk and I love to dance, but I'm not doing all that extra shit. She's like in the gym all the time, treadmill, saunas, like doing all this stuff, right? But we try to keep our bodies moving, right? We're trying to eat fresh foods and keep them healthy. And, if we could drink fresh juices and we do stuff like that, right? And I'm not out here sitting telling people, you need to drink fresh juices and blah, blah, blah. Like my life is an example. It's like, how do you look like this? Well, I like to walk. I'm always moving my body. I eat till I'm satisfied. I drink a lot of water, right? I'm not out here preaching to you. You look, you see, I'm doing all right. Well, if that's what you want to do, rock it out, right? And I'm going to support your transition. I'm going to support your growth. I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to try to be supportive to you, right? I'm going to keep complimenting you and celebrating you at every level of your transformation because I know that it's not easy. But I'm not going to sit here and make fun of you and talk shit about you if you're trying to do better. That I'm not going to do because any progress, no matter how small, is still fucking progress, right? So, whatever steps you're taking, way to go. And I don't give a fuck if this is the 15th day one you've had in a row. Way to go. Because at least you're showing up for yourself, right? And there's going to be a whole bunch of people around you that don't believe in you and don't support you and talk shit about you. Guess what? So what? People always got something to say. I had to, I've always known that, but I had to like get over that fact when I started doing YouTube. Right, I had to get over the fact that like people always got something to say because I'm like, I got shit to say too. You got something to say, I got something to say. And my mouth is crazy, right? My mouth is crazy. It can hurt your feelings, shatter your soul in like 5 seconds, right? But I had to get to the point where I was like, people are always gonna have something to say. But so what? Right? Am I happy? Yes. Am I joyful? Yes. Am I at peace? Yes. Am I doing the best that I can every day? Yes. Am I a good mother? Yes. Like there are so many things that I have going on that are wonderful in my life or really great qualities about myself. And I celebrate those in the areas of my life that could do better, then I work on making them better every single day. Right? But I'm not the same person I was last year. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago, and I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And so if I'm having a conversation with someone who's talking about 20-old Autumn as opposed to 45-year-old Autumn, then they have missed a whole lot. Because a lot can change within a day. Imagine a year, let alone two or 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So, I don't know. This word of encouragement just came in. Like I know you guys are getting triggered. I know that it can be really heavy, but at the end of the day, your transformation, your goals, your changes, the things that you're growing through, right, are for your success, for your healing, right? The physical ailments, the diseases that you've been diagnosed with, right, are all spiritually based, right? There's a reason that I combine life coaching and metaphysics, right? Because we need to figure out what's going on within you so we can change what's going on without you around you, I should say, not without you, outside of you. You know what I mean? Like, as within, so without, right? As above, so below. So we need to get all of us in alignment together. You know what I mean? So love yourself, stand firm in your beliefs. You know what I mean? Like I said, I know a lot of you are going to be triggered during this time. I just want you to just remember who you are, right? All the growth, all the movement, all the changes that you've made, people are still expecting the old you to show up. People are still going to say the things that they think are going to trigger you. So you need to figure out, right? Here's a little tidbit for the holiday. If they say A, B, C, D to me and that bothers me, why the fuck does that bother me? Right? Why, after all this time, does that comment still bother me? Why, after all this time, does it bother me when they go, when are you gonna have some kids? Or why aren't you married yet? Or you're still dealing with that old boy? You still work at that job? Or damn, you ain't make no money yet? Or oh, you're getting fat and I heard your kids fucked up. Like people are gonna make a comment. They love to bring up the worst parts about you and try to make you feel crazy about it. If you own who the fuck you are and everything you've been growing through, you are not going to be bothered because you know yourself. There's nothing anyone can tell me about me that I don't know already because I was the one that lived through all those experiences. I may not necessarily know your perspective or your viewpoint of the experience that I experienced, but I don't necessarily have to give a fuck either. My experience, my perspective is the one that matters the most, right? Unless we're having a conversation about healing and there was a fallout, in which case I am willing to listen to your perspective. It doesn't mean it's going to change my perspective, but it does mean that I have the common sense, compassion, and consideration to listen to everyone else's viewpoint, right? No one's right all the time. Never wrong, but I'm not always right. Point blank and simple. We just might have a different perspective of things, right? Own that, right? Maybe we just have a different viewpoint. Or, yeah, I used to do that, right? That's crazy. That was back in the day. I used to do mad shit that I don't do anymore. right? You want to bring up shit that I did at 15? Okay. 30 years ago. You sound stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you're trying to make me look crazy. It's like you're bringing up shit that I did as a child now as an adult, and you want me to feel some kind of way. What, do you feel better about yourself about telling that story about me thinking that you were going to humiliate me? Right? Like, I need you guys to get on that energy. Like, how sad and pathetic are these people that are trying to make you look less than during a time of joy and gratitude? Right? Like, think about that and then laugh about it and tell them to go kick rocks and keep it banging. Most of the people that got shit to say about you anyway are probably your elders, so they're on their way out anyway. Why do you care? Like, shift your perspective, right? I need you guys to get this Aries fire in your asses and learn to tell people to go fuck themselves. Okay? I know it's like, oh, you're a life, sex, and spirituality coach, you're a minister, blah, blah, blah. I know what the fuck I am. I was the one that got ordained. I was the one that did the training. I was the one that went through the initiations. I was the one that did the classes. I'm the one that's doing all the work. And I'm still telling you, as a self-empowered, self-aware woman who loves herself very much and has the dopest relationship with God ever, that sometimes loving yourself means telling people to go fuck themselves and to get out of your lives. That's on God. I don't know how else to tell it to you. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I still need to do a reading for the collective on my other channel. If you guys aren't on the Enlightened Daughter with me, check it out. Um, this wasn't necessarily gonna be a soul sex thing, but I feel like it needed to be said because I know it's hard I know it can be challenging, like I said, during the holiday time. I can always tell because I start getting more client calls and inquiries, right? Like people are like, I need someone to talk to, right? So again, you guys know my number's at the bottom. You can always email me and reach out and we can set something up because I know it's a challenging time, but that's all it is. It's a challenge. It doesn't own you, it doesn't control you, and it doesn't make or break you. You know what I'm saying? You're fucking dope. The people in your life need to realize that. And if they don't, you can tell them Autumn said to go fuck themselves. Anyway, I'm gonna let it go here. I got food on the stove. I got all types of stuff happening. Um, I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. You guys are amazing. Don't ever forget that. Let me know again if you want to hook up to do a coaching session or if you just need to do like maybe like a soul call, you just need someone to talk to. I do those too. You can check everything out at the listings below. You can also shoot me a text, like I said, my text free number is at the bottom. Um, or shoot me an email, right? Like I'm always here to help guys because I love you, and that's why I keep showing up because you need to know that you're important and you need to know that you're better than your mistakes and you need to know that transformation is possible for everyone in this world, including you, right? And even including those around us that seem like they'll never change. Sometimes the only thing that really needs to change is our perspective of them. But that's another conversation for another day. I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. And I'll see you later. Bye, my beloveds.